Last week, just a short walk from Manhattan's Little Island, the High Line, a popular urban park nestled above the city, buzzed with visitors soaking in the sun. Among them, few were aware of the man whose vision helped bring this urban oasis to life. Barry Diller, the iconic businessman and media mogul. Reflecting on the park, Diller, now 83, spoke thoughtfully. When you're up here, even though you're not up very high, you really are elevated with a totally different perspective of the city. It's this new perspective that Diller is now offering the world. At 83, he is preparing to release his long-awaited memoir, Who Knew?, a project that has taken over a decade to complete. In the book, Diller opens up like never before, sharing stories, naming names, and revealing intimate truths about himself, subjects he previously vowed never to discuss publicly. In the preface of the book, he writes, "When I was young, I was far too afraid. I'm no longer that, and I'm too old to care." It's clear that the man once known for carefully managing his public persona is now ready to tell his story on his own terms. Diller's fears were rooted in an anxiety about his own identity and the secrets he carried with him. "I was afraid of secrets being revealed," Diller admits candidly. "I thought I didn't qualify. I was just afraid of revealing myself." As he looks back, he realizes that much of this fear stemmed from his struggles with his sexuality. His first sexual experience came at age 16, but at that time, he wasn't ready to accept or understand what it meant. "Did you tell your friends?" I asked. "Of course not. Are you kidding?" "I didn't even tell myself," Diller responds with a laugh. I thought, "Oh, I did that, but I don't need to do it again." A month later, however, he found himself doing it again, and that's when he began to acknowledge his feelings. Despite this realization, he chose to keep this part of himself a secret, vowing never to lie about it, but instead to keep it quiet. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, homosexuality was far less accepted in mainstream society, and Diller, like many others, feared the consequences of revealing his identity. "I was confused about my sexuality," he says, acknowledging that he didn't feel comfortable talking about it, even with the people closest to him. Talking about homosexuality, or bisexuality, was something that scared the hell out of me, he adds. "I didn't want to risk what others had risked, even at that time." By the time he was just 32, Diller had made a seismic leap into the world of film, taking on the role of chairman of Paramount Pictures. Looking back, Diller admits that he felt like an outsider in Hollywood. Despite his self-doubt, Diller proved his instincts for great storytelling were spot on. Under his leadership, Paramount produced iconic films, including Saturday Night Fever in 1977. These movies would go on to define a generation and become ingrained in popular culture. During his tenure at Paramount, Diller's personal life would take another unexpected turn when he met Diane von Furstenberg, the celebrated fashion designer. Their first encounter was less than promising. "The first time I met her, I never wanted to see her again," Diller recalls, describing her as dismissive. But by their second meeting a few months later, something clicked. "It was pure desire," Diller admits, "a spark that would grow into a passionate relationship." The two became lovers, and Diller was clear that their connection wasn't just platonic. "No, it didn't start that way." No, he confirms. One of his most lasting contributions, however, has been his involvement in the creation of New York City's High Line. Alongside Diane von Furstenberg, Diller helped transform the abandoned railway into a green space that has become a beloved part of the city's landscape. Reflecting on its impact, he says, "It doesn't cure cancer, but it brings pleasure to people." Much like the High Line, Diller's memoir serves a similar purpose. It's a story of joy, reflection, and truth. As he delves into his past, Diller acknowledges his previous reluctance to share his private life. "I was a coward," he admits. "I didn't have the courage to make declarations. But that is the truth." Yet, despite his past fears, Diller's life has turned out extraordinarily well, both in his career and personal life. He and von Furstenberg have been married since 2001, and their relationship remains a constant source of strength for Diller. "The best times for us are when it's just us," he says, reflecting on their nearly 50 years together. How lucky do you get? Barry Diller's memoir offers a new perspective on a man who has lived a life full of successes, struggles, and revelations. At 83, he is no longer hiding behind fear or secrecy, but embracing his truth. His story, much like the High Line, is one of transformation. Where once there was uncertainty, there is now clarity and a legacy built on both love and ambition.